He commanded legions. He built empires. Yet buried in the dust of time lies a secret even King Solomon feared to speak aloud. What if the greatest exorcist in history failed? Deep within the Lesser Key of Solomon, a medieval grimoire revered and reviled, there whispers a tale scholars dare not repeat. A chapter scrubbed from history, 72 entities, not bound, but unleashed. Their true names etched in the Dead Sea Scrolls, mirror constellations lost to modern skies, forgotten stars, hidden faces, and a question that haunts the ages. Where are these entities hiding today? Tonight we trace these shadows across millennia, from Solomon's temple to the sands of Qumran, from Babylonian star maps to the voids in our own night sky. But tread carefully. Some doors once opened cannot be closed. To understand Solomon's nightmare, we must first step into his world. The Bible celebrates him as a king of unparalleled wisdom, a ruler who spoke to animals, bent demons to his will, and forged a kingdom glittering with gold. But ancient texts outside Scripture whisper a darker truth. The Lesser Key of Solomon, a medieval grimoire claiming to preserve his secrets, describes 72 infernal spirits bound by his legendary ring. Yet hidden in its oldest manuscripts, gaps, missing passages, a void where something far more dangerous once lived. In 1947, a Bedouin shepherd stumbled on a cave near Qumran that would rewrite history. Among the Dead Sea Scrolls, Fragment 4, Q510 stands apart. Dated to the 1st century BCE, it warns of 72 princes of wrath whose faces are veiled from the sun. Scholars have long debated its meaning until a team of researchers noticed something chilling. The number 72 mirrors not only Solomon's demons, but an ancient Babylonian star catalog. These entities, it seems, were never mere metaphors. They were mapped to the heavens. Here's what they discovered. The Babylonians divided the sky into 72 segments, each ruled by a divine watcher. But these weren't stars as we know them. They were voids, regions of darkness where light seemingly died. Modern astronomers call these areas dust clouds. But what if the ancients saw something else? Something alive? The Ars Goetia, the first section of the Lesser Key, depicts each demon with a sigil. When overlain with Babylonian star maps, these symbols align with the exact coordinates of those dark celestial zones. Coincidence or evidence of a lineage stretching back to Solomon himself? Some researchers argue that the king's failure wasn't a lack of power, it was a realization. These entities weren't meant to be controlled. They were meant to be observed. But why erase their names? Why bury their constellations? The answer may lie in a single unsettling pattern. Across cultures, these 72 watchers appear in texts deemed too dangerous to preserve. The Book of Enoch, banned by early Christian councils, describes fallen angels teaching forbidden arts to humanity. The Testament of Solomon, an apocryphal text, admits the king's ring eventually lost its power, and the demons returned to their stations. Even the Kebra Nagast, sacred to the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, cryptically states, they wait in the places between. And here's the most haunting detail. Precession, the slow wobble of Earth's axis, has shifted our view of the stars over millennia. Those Babylonian voids now align with parts of the sky modern telescopes cannot fully see. Dust clouds, black holes, or something older. Religious authorities scrubbed these entities from scripture. Ancient councils burned texts that name them. Yet their shadows linger. In the Ethiopian tradition, Solomon's ring was never destroyed. It was hidden, awaiting a time when the 72 might again be challenged. But if their constellations are gone, how do we find them? The Ars Goetia, Solomon's spectral roster, names each of the 72 entities in meticulous detail. Baal, the horse-voiced king; Paimon, the rider of the camel; Marcosius, the wolf with griffin's wings. But these are not mere monsters. Each bears a title: duke, prince, emperor, a hierarchy mirroring the celestial order itself. And here lies the first clue. The grimoire insists their sigils are not just symbols, they are maps, coordinates to realms beyond sight. When researchers superimpose these sigils onto the 72 Babylonian celestial divisions, the match was uncanny. Geometric angles align with star clusters now lost to time. The demon Andromalius, depicted with a serpent coiled around his arm, corresponded to a Babylonian constellation called Naru, the River of Darkness, a region modern astronomers identify as a molecular cloud, a stellar nursery veiled in dust. Coincidence, or a warning label from the ancients? But the Dead Sea Scrolls fragment 4Q510 adds a darker layer. It describes the 72 not as stars, but as princes who dwell in the mirrors of heaven. Some linguists argue mirrors here refers to reflections, alternate planes of existence. Others claim it's a metaphor for black voids in the sky. Yet one phrase repeats like a curse: their breath stirs the sands of time. Could this hint at their ability to endure, to wait, patient as comets, until their constellations return? Earth's axis wobbles over millennia, a dance called precession. The stars Solomon knew have long since drifted. But what if the voids, the dust clouds, remain? Recent studies suggest some interstellar clouds harbor complex organic molecules, the building blocks of life. Are these the breath of the 72? A few fringe astronomers propose an unsettling theory. What if the dust itself is a cloak, a way to hide something that watches and hungers? The Testament of Solomon, an ancient text deemed heretical by early churches, claims the king's ring, engraved with the tetragrammaton, began to corrode as the stars shifted. The demons, once subdued, slipped through its cracks like smoke. This suggests a horrifying truth. Solomon's control depended on celestial alignment. When the stars moved, so did their chains. But where did they go? The Kebra Nagast, revered in Ethiopia, claims they retreated to the spaces between breaths, a phrase some interpret as quantum vacuums or dark matter. Here's what binds these threads. The 72 are not tied to places, but to time. Their names, their sigils, their constellations, all are clocks, and humanity, merely temporary custodians of a secret too vast to hold. Yet the greatest question remains. If these entities are free, why haven't they revealed themselves? Perhaps they have. Ancient cultures spoke of plagues, madness, and wars sent by invisible hands. Today we call them pandemics, existential dread, climate collapse. Different names, same patterns. Are we the keepers of Solomon's nightmare, or its inheritors? The Ars Goetia warns that these entities govern nations and tempt souls. But what if their influence is subtler? Older texts suggest they are not evil. They are amoral, forces of chaos bound to the fabric of reality itself. The Babylonian Enuma Elish creation myth speaks of primordial beings who shaped order from the formless. The Dead Sea Scrolls fragment 4Q510 calls them the unseen architects. Could Solomon's demons be the same beings? And if so, why did he try to bind them? In 2021, a team of historians and astronomers made a controversial discovery. They cross-referenced the Ars Goetia with the Egyptian Dendera zodiac, a 2,000-year-old star map. The result? 72 forbidden constellations, erased from later Greco-Roman catalogs. These include entities like Ku, a jackal-headed void linked to the demon Buer, who the Lesser Key claims heals diseases and teaches philosophy. A benevolent description until you read the fine print. Buer's sigil, when mapped to star Ku, aligns with a region of space now known to emit unexplained radio waves, signals, or screams. In 1977, the WOW signal, a mysterious radio burst from deep space, was detected near the Sagittarius constellation. Coincidentally, Sagittarius houses one of Solomon's lost Babylonian voids, Nergal's Maw, a zone ancient texts associate with plagues and rebellion. Modern astronomers dismiss it as natural phenomena, but fringe theorists ask, what if the signal wasn't a greeting, but a wake-up call? This is the paradox of the 72nd. They are woven into humanity's darkest moments, yet their presence defies easy categorization. The Testament of Solomon claims they test the hearts of men. Early Christian councils burned copies of this text, fearing it implied these entities served a divine purpose, a notion that threatened their doctrine of absolute evil. But the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, which preserved apocryphal texts like the Kebra Nagast, teaches a different lesson. The 72 are mirrors. They reflect humanity's capacity for creation and destruction. Consider this. The Lesser Key insists each demon has a counter-spirit, an angelic force that can bind it. But what if these angels are not celestial beings, but human choices? The Scrolls fragment 4, Q510 states, their chains are forged in the heart, not the heavens. A warning echoed in the Kebra Nagast. Solomon's ring held power only so long as his soul held light. When greed corrupted him, the ring's magic faded. The demons didn't escape, they were invited. Which brings us to today. Why now? Why, after millennia, does this mystery resurface? The answer may lie in the stars and in us. Axial precession has finally shifted Earth's orientation back to a position not seen since Solomon's reign. The voids are returning to their ancient coordinates. And humanity? We've built a world steeped in chaos, connected by invisible networks, obsessed with power. A perfect mirror for the 72 to reflect. But there's hope. The Ethiopian tradition claims Solomon's ring was hidden in a place of humility. Some researchers speculate this refers not to a physical location, but a state of being, a collective return to ethics, to balance. Yet the clock ticks, the voids in the sky grow darker, and the question remains, are we repeating Solomon's mistake or fulfilling his nightmare? If these entities are as old as time itself, how do we guard against their influence or understand their purpose? The answer may lie not in binding them, but in binding ourselves. Ancient traditions offer clues. The Testament of Solomon claims the king's power waned when he abandoned justice for wealth. The Kebra Nagast warns that pride opens the gate. Could humility and self-awareness be the true counter-sigils? Researchers propose 3 principles drawn from these texts. First, observe patterns. The 72 thrive in chaos, but their celestial ties mean their influence waxes and wanes like tides. Tracking global events against precession cycles, or even personal struggles against astrological alignments, might reveal hidden triggers. Second, cultivate balance. Ethiopian tradition teaches that Solomon's ring only worked when his heart was split evenly between earth and heaven. Third, guard the stories. When texts are burned or secrets buried, the 72 gain power in the shadows. Truth, however unsettling, is a weapon. But beware, this is not a call to obsession. The Ars Goetia itself warns that he who seeks to command the 72 shall be devoured by their gaze. Modern psychologists might frame this as the danger of paranoia. Ancient or modern, the lesson is the same. Focus not on controlling the unseen, but on mastering the self. Practical steps: document synchronicities, study history's repeating cycles, practice ethical consistency. Actions rooted in integrity leave fewer cracks for chaos to seep through. And look to the stars, not with fear, but with curiosity. As one medieval mystic wrote, "The heavens are a book, their darkest pages hold the brightest warnings." Solomon's story is not about demons, it's about duality, the tension between control and surrender, knowledge and ignorance, light and shadow. The 72 entities may be ancient cosmic forces, or they may be manifestations of humanity's unclaimed flaws. But their persistence across time tells us one thing: they are mirrors, and mirrors only hold power if we refuse to see ourselves in them. So where are they hiding today? Look to the voids, in the sky, in history, in the human soul. They are wherever we deny our capacity for chaos or our potential for grace. Thank you for joining us in unraveling these celestial enigmas. If the shadows of Solomon's nightmare intrigued you, share this video with fellow seekers and let us know your thoughts below. Together we shine light on the forgotten. What hidden truth should we uncover next? Like, share, and subscribe below.